What's going on, everyone? We are live. Welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire. For those of you who are actually new to the channel, I am your host, Rashid White, co-host, basketball analyst, football analyst extraordinaire, Barrick Burrell is in the house.
All that. What's going on,
hey,
guys?
Man, you just have confidence, man.
Hey, listen, man. You know, this is the way it goes. We are talking about the NBA Finals, the 2022 NBA Finals.
Barrick, my bag of notes are all over the place because I was writing down flaws that I actually see in Golden State, in the first half. And I'm like,
right,
they can't stop Boston in the half court or in transition. But then in the second half, they actually answer that. And then I was saying that there's no downhill threat from Golden State. And I was like, hey, listen, they don't have to make a trade or something like that, man. Like to try to get like a Bradley Beal, somebody that can actually put pressure on the defense, finish in traffic, and can actually kick it out to open shooters because Steph Curry isn't it. He gets blocked a lot. I mean, he doesn't have the explosiveness. I mean, there's a lot of flaws from Golden State, but now you look at Boston over here. I mean, there was certainly a lot of correctable issues, I would say.
Okay, so what was correctable?
Oh, I mean, just the unforced turnovers, overthinking the game in a sense, though, like holding on to the basketball. I see Al Horford trying to be something that he's actually not. Like he doesn't really have good position in terms of actually scoring the basketball. He tries to take the shot. Him as a big, actually trying to bring the ball. As a big, supposed to keep the ball high up, and he's bringing it low to where the guards can strip him. I mean, just a lot of mistakes there, Barrick. A lot of mistakes. Well, yeah. Another one. I mean, just trying to do too much. Taking really the shot selection pretty much. Taking a lot of bad shots.
Well, a lot of the bad shots were created by good defense by Golden State, simply because Golden State was pressuring the lane. Golden State was pressuring the passing lane. They were running over the shooters before they had a chance to set and get a good look at the basket. A lot of times Boston were in a situation where they had a shot and they double took, they put the ball down the floor, try to dribble, penetrate, and find an open man, which wasn't there. It forced turnovers, it forced them to take shots they weren't comfortable taking. When you look at the way they output, Tatum was the only one that did any damage. He finished with 28 points, more of which most of his points was in the first half. I mean, you look at Horford, 2 points. Williams, the third, 2 points. Marcus Smart, 2 points. Jaylen Brown was all right at 17. And Derek White finished off with 12. You can't win with 33 points off of turnovers and have the production that they have. Their plus minuses will all be all negative. I mean, you can't have success this way.
Tatum was a negative 36, yeah.
Huh?
I said Tatum was a negative 36. I'm pulling up the box score now. I forgot the
yeah. But Tatum was 8 of 9 from the field. But the thing about it is he had 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 4 turnovers. Okay, so those type of things happen. Like I said, Tatum was more successful early, mostly in the first quarter. As the game went on, he tapered off, and you had no success from anyone else. If Horford touched that ball, 2 guys were running over to him. Okay? Smart touched the ball, 2 guys were running. They were not going to let happen to them in game 2 Golden State that happened to them in that fourth quarter, game 1. That was not happening. You can tell there was adjustments made. And, of course, Draymond being Draymond, he want to be Mr. Physicality and force the issue in a mental aspect. That worked, too.
Yeah, so initially I was going to say that Draymond has low basketball IQ, but not really, because
he doesn't. It's very smart.
It's very smart. He got into the heads of the Boston Celtics and made them play with emotion rather than intellect, in a sense. Though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, coached by Coach Izzo from Michigan State. I mean, he came from a good program. Okay, came from a good program. He was taught well. But even in this game, he took a few shots that were ugly, but at the same time, his ability to run the floor, his communication, playing defense, Although I believe there was 2 times he could have gotten into an altercation. One with Jaylen Brown, the other one with Williams. So this was his way of doing it. You're going to try to do that in Game 3 in Boston. It's not going to work. I can tell you that right now. Boston's going to be ready for him in Game 3. They're going to be ready for his antics. They're going to be ready for the double teams. They got to find ways to get that ball moving and get an open shot or a good high percentage shot in Game 3. That'll be the key to beating Golden State's defense.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. That was another thing in my back of notes here, man. The lack of ball movement, too much isolation basketball. Like I said, man, there's like 4 or 5 times Jaylen Brown would dribble into traffic, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Pass the basketball. Same thing with Al Horford in a sense, though. Like pass the damn ball, man. What is so hard about that? You get into trouble, pass the basketball.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said again earlier, that when you're playing defense, you're forcing the passing lanes double up the top instead of waiting for them to come down and work off the screen, which they did in Game 1. They pressured the screen. They pressured the pick setter. They pressured everybody, and they just made it difficult for Boston to get a free look at the basket. I mean, Draymond only scored 9 points, but unfortunately, his game is played for the neck up. 5 rebounds, defensive end on total, 7 assists, 7. Here's the 9 points. 35 minutes on the floor, though. He was on the floor quite a bit. But you got your most important stuff, no doubt about that. And, Looney and Wiggins, maybe Clay in a sense, but Clay was bad. Clay was 4 for 19 from the field. He got to get better. He make Clay dribble a lot more instead of him doing catch and shoot. He got to get Clay more to a catch and shoot situation. But they benched it pretty good as well. Their bench is very productive. Jordan Poole was great, 17 points. So this is the whole thing, man. That big 3-point shot in the first quarter, that Poole hit from way outside, that just put the hammer in the nail in the coffin. That whole fourth quarter, Boston waved the white flag. That was it. Done deal. So you got to look at it. The third quarter, you lost the third quarter 35-14. Can't do it. Can't win. You smashed. It's over. Can't do it. So Boston's got to say, hey, you know what? If there's any, if there's any kind of a rainbow to look at, it's the fact that you got one. You did the split in Golden State. You got the one game. Now you're going home, series 1-1. You technically have the home court edge. But if you lose Game 3, well,
I think I got to play with like really, really so lethargically. I mean, you had 3 days off. I mean, some of the rotations to the 3-point shooters. I mean, you have guys who are supposed to be really good defenders forcing like Jordan Poole to his right hand, Steph Curry to his right hand. I'm like, force them left. What the hell's wrong with you guys, man? Are you just trying to give the game away over here? Is this some type of conspiracy that we
you know something though? You want to know something, Rasheed? Both teams shot exactly the same from 3-point range, 40.5%, 40.5%. They both shot the same from the field. What was the difference? The difference was they got Golden State. They're better in rebounding. They were a better rebounding team. They forced turnovers that was 33 points over turnovers. That won the game for Golden State. They dominated that third quarter. That's what won the game for Golden State. Same thing with Boston Game 1. They dominated that fourth quarter. That was it. Remember, Boston was only down 52-50 at halftime. They were down 2. They were down 2. So what happened? They got blitzed in the third quarter. That's what happened. That's what happened.
I'm actually shocked over here, man. That I look at all these plus minuses. Al Horford a -15, Marcus Smart defensive player of the year. He has what do you call it? A -12. Jaylen Brown, there's this. That was one of the, and that's another thing. Dropping on the high screens for Boston. We were talking about that in this pre-game prep over here, Barrett.
Yeah. It doesn't help when you turn. Yeah, it doesn't help when you turn the ball over 18 times either. Doesn't help. You know,
Well, my thing is, do you actually come up on? Do you come up and force Curry? I mean, because there's a lot of times they would Golden State sets the high screen for that 3-pointer, and nobody's up and chasing Steph Curry off the line. Man, they drop it. I'm like, you know, he's gonna pull up. He's not. It's not like Ja Morant. You drop one. Kyrie, John Wall when he's healthy. Don't drop on Steph Curry. Come on.
You know, it's really, when something we talked about a week ago, I'll remind you now. We talked a lot about the guys that will never stay still, like they got Anthony backside, like the Rip Hamiltons and the Reggie Millers of the world. You know, those guys consistently move, and Steph does the same thing. He doesn't stay still. He's consistently moving, and those guys were difficult coverage, and they always had high percentage of. So when you talk about trying to stop Steph, get that stop Steph out the head. Containment may be the best logic. And you say not to prep that I'd rather Steph shoot the basketball. Isn't that Steph's game? Driving the basketball is also Steph's game too. But one thing you want to do with Steph is you want to run him around screens on defense. That's how you took Reggie out the game. But Reggie had scored 2-3 points in many games. So did Rick. How you did that? On defense, Golden State on defense, no offense, run through a plethora of screens. Wear his ass out. So when he comes on offense, but he's done. That's what I would do. He's like a gazelle, man. He will not stay still. And if you let him keep rolling and you don't look him on defense, but now we're in a world now in basketball with switching is a bigger thing than ever. Well, whoever he switches on to, you got to run him to at least a screen. You got to run him somewhere. And
I'll be shocked, honestly. I mean, Boston really here is the better team. I will be totally shocked if Golden State actually wins this series, man. Because I was thinking Golden State in maybe 6 or 7 games, and then, like I said, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the thoroughbreds that Boston has, and the old horses, and slow. What's his name? Klay Thompson. He can't explode off the dribble and finish in traffic, and doesn't really play making. What makes Klay Thompson special is his ability to catch and shoot. And I would be so shocked if Boston actually loses series.
Well, you know what? You gotta look at the fact these two teams are now at this point during the course of the playoffs became the two best defensive teams. So it's no surprise they're both here. And let's know the old tired phrase is defense wins chips. And whoever is more better at adjusting on defense is going to win this series. Because both these teams can score points.
I mean, you got these guys, Tatum pretty much. I think Tatum is in the high 30% shooting 3-pointers, but mainly like a lot of guys are like 30, 34, 35% 3-point shooting. So it's going to be interesting to actually see. We'll see. I mean, all right. So game 3, who do you think actually takes this?
I think Boston will get game 3. I think it'll be a hard-fought game, but I think Boston will take it. And listen, it's not about just knowing they'll win. They're going to have to win because you went into Oakland, beg your pardon, you went into San Francisco, and you took one. And you took one from how you played in the fourth quarter. That cannot be wasted. You can't be celebrating that we got a split and then go home on your home floor. But here's the thing. Boston's 8-3 on the road. 8-3 on the road during the playoffs. What does that mean? They're not as good at home. Remember, in a close-out game against Miami, it was up 3-2. They were home. They blew it.
Yeah, and Robert Williams. I mean, I think his injury stat. We'll see. I mean, because he came up. Marcus Smart ran into his knee. I mean, that was the same knee that he actually got surgically repaired. I mean, it's going to be interesting with Robert Williams. We'll actually see with him. I think pretty much I went over all my bag of notes there. I don't really have much to say. I mean, the main thing is like them dropping. In game 1, they were actually dropping on the high screens, but then in the third and fourth quarter, Boston actually adjusted from that and wasn't dropping. They were coming up on it and running Steph Curry's ass off the line. But this game, they was just, I don't know, what was up with that? I mean, you know something works, why go away from it? Doesn't make any sense for the life of me. I don't get it.
Well, listen, like I said, Golden State shot 45.5%, Boston 37. That's another indication that the defense played the shooters. They took them off their spot. They didn't give them freedom to the basket. All these things that Boston fed off in game one wasn't there in game two. I mean, they were some bad choices. Sometimes when everybody's running at you, it's hard to make a split-second decision, which another thing happens. Well, you know what? Listen, it's part of basketball. It happens. That's why it's a best of 7. So like football, you only got 2 weeks to try to prepare for one game. All right? Like baseball, hockey, and basketball, best 4 out of 7. So these things happen. You go home, get a little rest, you know what I mean? Chill with the wife and kids, get your head right. Come back, get yourself ready for game 3. Boston has to win game 3. If they don't win game 3, it's going to be hard to win the series. Usually a team in a split one that wins the 3rd game, normally 91% of the time, as I see here, wins the series. So if you win game 3, you're up 2-1, with the home court advantage, you'll be in the driver's seat trying to win the championship. We shall see.
All right. It was a Jordan pool party. I'm gonna have to retitle this whole live here, man. And I mean, did he earn his money? But all right, we'll wrap this video up. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Certainly share this video, and when you share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Derek is putting up a paycheck, man. I haven't seen people. That's a big check. It's a big paycheck right there, man. So,
yeah, it's a big paycheck. You better come see my wife, or she's gonna be mad at me. All right, guys.
All right.
Peace. Thanks a lot.